Spring break was supposed to be the best week of our lives. That's what everyone kept saying. Beach parties, late nights, no rules, no responsibilities, just freedom. Me and my 3 friends had been planning the trip for months. We rented a small beach house just outside a popular party town. It was cheaper than staying right in the city, and honestly, we liked the idea of having our own place. The house itself was old but decent. 2 floors, wooden interior, big windows facing the ocean, and a small deck out back. The owner had left a note on the kitchen counter when we arrived. It welcomed us and reminded us to keep things respectful, especially at night. There was also a strange line written at the bottom. Please do not invite anyone you don't know into the house. We laughed it off at the time. It sounded like something every paranoid homeowner would say. The first 2 days were exactly what we expected. Beach during the day, parties at night, music, drinks, random people everywhere. It felt like the kind of trip you'd remember forever. On the 3rd night, everything changed. We had just come back from a beach party around midnight. The house was quiet, the ocean waves faintly crashing in the distance. One of my friends suggested we keep the night going and throw a small after-party at the house. Nothing big, just a few people we had met earlier. At first, we hesitated. The owner's note came to mind for a second, but we quickly brushed it aside. It was spring break. That's what you do. So we invited a few people. Then those few people invited more. Within an hour, our quiet beach house was filled with strangers. Music was playing from someone's speaker. People were laughing, drinking, moving in and out of rooms like they owned the place. At some point, I stepped outside onto the deck to get some air. The night was calm, too calm compared to the chaos inside. The ocean stretched out in complete darkness, and the only light came from the house behind me. That's when I noticed something. Someone was standing near the edge of the property, far enough to stay in the shadows, but close enough to see the house. I couldn't make out their face, just a figure, completely still, watching. I assumed it was just someone from the party taking a break, but something about the way they stood there felt wrong. They weren't moving, not even slightly. I stared at them for a few seconds. Then I called out, asking if they were okay. No response. The figure didn't move, didn't react, just stood there. I felt a strange chill run through me, so I went back inside. The party had gotten louder. People I didn't recognize were everywhere now. At least 20 or 30 people packed into the living room and kitchen. That's when I noticed something else. There were more people inside than we had invited. I didn't recognize most of them. Faces I had never seen before. But everyone seemed to act like it was normal, like they belonged there. I brushed it off and grabbed a drink, trying to relax. But the uneasy feeling stayed. About an hour later, I went upstairs to use the bathroom. The hallway was quieter than the rest of the house. The music downstairs sounded distant now. As I walked past one of the bedrooms, I noticed the door was slightly open. The room was dark, but I could hear something inside. A soft whispering sound, like multiple voices talking quietly at the same time. I pushed the door open a little more. The room was empty. No one there, but the whispering continued, faint, right next to me. I stepped back immediately and closed the door. My heart started beating faster. I went downstairs quickly, trying to shake it off. The party was still going, but something felt different now. The energy had changed. People weren't laughing as much. Conversations sounded quieter, more tense. And then I saw him, the same figure I had seen outside. He was inside the house now, standing near the kitchen, completely still, watching. His face was partially hidden in shadow, but his eyes looked wrong, too dark, too focused. He wasn't talking to anyone, wasn't drinking, just standing there, observing everything. I walked over to one of my friends and asked if they knew him. They shook their head, said they thought he came with someone else, but no one knew who. I turned back toward the kitchen. He was gone. Just like that. Vanished. I started feeling genuinely uneasy now. I told my friends we should end the party, that something didn't feel right. They laughed it off at first, but then one of them said something that made everything worse. Why are there people upstairs? We all froze. No one had invited anyone upstairs. We hadn't even been using the second floor. Slowly, we made our way toward the stairs. The music downstairs continued, but it felt distant now, muted. As we climbed up, we could hear it, whispering, multiple voices, coming from the hallway, the same sound I had heard earlier. We reached the top of the stairs. The hallway lights flickered slightly, and every bedroom door was now open. All of them. But the rooms were empty. No one inside. The whispering suddenly stopped. Complete silence. Then, we heard footsteps downstairs. A lot of them, moving all at once. We rushed back down. The house was empty. Completely empty. Every single person from the party was gone. No music, no voices, no movement. Just silence. It was like everyone had disappeared at the exact same time. We stood there, in shock, trying to understand what had just happened. Then the front door slowly creaked open, by itself. We stared at it. And standing outside was the same figure, watching us, completely still. Then slowly, he smiled and whispered something. We barely heard it, but I'll never forget it. You invited us. The door slammed shut. We left the house that night. Didn't pack, didn't clean. We just left. The next day, we came back during daylight to get our things. The house looked normal again, empty, quiet, like nothing had ever happened. But the owner's note was still on the kitchen counter, and this time, there was something new written at the bottom, in handwriting that wasn't there before. You let them in.
Before we move on to the next story, give us your verdict on this one, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
We picked that beach house because it looked perfect in the photos, right on the edge of the shoreline, far enough from the main party areas to be quiet, but close enough to drive into town whenever we wanted. It was cheaper than the crowded hotels, and it gave us privacy, which was exactly what we were looking for. There were 4 of us on the trip, and by the 4th day of spring break, we had already fallen into a routine. Party at night, sleep late, wake up in the afternoon, then head back out again. It felt like nothing could go wrong. That night, we decided to stay in. Everyone was exhausted from the previous night. So instead of going into town, we picked up food, turned on some music, and just relaxed inside the house. The ocean was unusually calm that night. No wind, no loud waves, just a steady, quiet rhythm in the distance. Around midnight, one of my friends went upstairs to grab something from his bag. A few seconds later, he called out, "Hey, did someone leave the balcony door open?" We all looked at each other. "No," I said. "Why?" He came halfway down the stairs, looking confused. "It's open," he said. "Wide open." That didn't make sense. We hadn't even used the upstairs balcony since we got there. I walked up with him to check. The balcony door was open. Completely open. The curtains were barely moving, even though there was almost no wind outside. I stepped out onto the balcony. The beach stretched out into darkness. The ocean looked like a black mirror under the faint moonlight. No one was there. No footprints. No movement. Nothing. We closed the door and locked it. At that point, it still didn't feel like a big deal. Just something we forgot, maybe. We went back downstairs and continued hanging out. About 20 minutes later, we heard something. A soft sound, like footsteps, from upstairs. We all froze. We stared at each other, trying to figure out if someone was playing a joke. No one was. The sound came again. Slow footsteps, moving across the wooden floor above us. I felt my chest tighten. We had just been upstairs. There was no one there. One of my friends grabbed his phone flashlight, and we slowly walked toward the stairs. The house felt different now. Heavier, quieter. Even the ocean outside seemed to have gone silent. We climbed the stairs together. Each step creaked under our weight. The hallway at the top was dark. All the bedroom doors were closed. The air felt colder. We stood there for a moment, listening. Silence. Then, suddenly, a door at the end of the hallway slowly creaked open. By itself. The sound echoed through the house. None of us moved. We just stared. The door stopped halfway open. Inside, the room was completely dark. I don't know why, but I took a step forward. Then another. My friend followed behind me. We reached the doorway and looked inside. The room was empty. Just a bed, a dresser, and a window facing the ocean. Nothing else. No one. But something felt off. Like someone had just been there. Watching. We checked every room upstairs after that. Closets, bathrooms, every corner. No one. We went back downstairs, trying to convince ourselves it was nothing. But no one said it out loud. No one wanted to admit how strange it felt. We locked every door, every window, turned on more lights, tried to shake it off. Around 2 a.m., we decided to sleep. We were all too tired to keep thinking about it. I took the couch in the living room. The others went upstairs. The house finally became quiet again. The kind of silence that feels too deep, too complete. I must have fallen asleep for a while, because the next thing I remember, I woke up suddenly, for no reason. The room was dark. The only light came from the faint glow of the moon through the window. At first, Everything seemed normal. Then I noticed something. The front door was open. Slightly. Just enough to let the night air drift inside. My heart started pounding. I sat up slowly. I was sure we had locked it. I stared at the door for a few seconds. Then I heard it. Breathing. Not mine. Someone else's. Close. Very close. I froze. The sound came from behind me, right behind the couch. Slow. Steady. Breathing. I couldn't move. Every instinct told me not to turn around. But I did. Slowly. Carefully. There was someone standing there. Right behind me. Close enough that I could see the outline of their body in the darkness. Their face was completely hidden in shadow. I couldn't see their features, but I could feel them looking at me. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. Then they leaned forward slightly and whispered something so quietly I almost didn't hear it. "I've been here since you arrived." My entire body went cold. I jumped up and turned on the lights. The room was empty. No one there. The front door was now closed. Locked. I ran upstairs immediately, woke everyone up. We checked the entire house again. Nothing. No sign of anyone. No forced entry. No footprints. No evidence. But none of us could sleep after that. We stayed awake until sunrise. The moment the sun came up, everything felt normal again. The house looked like it always had. Quiet, peaceful, safe. But we left that day, cut the trip short. And before we left, I checked the balcony one last time. The door was closed, locked. But on the glass, there was something written from the outside. Finger marks. Like someone had been standing there, watching us. The message said, "I never left."
Before we move on to the next story, give us your verdict on this one, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
It was supposed to be our last night of spring break. We had already packed most of our things, cleaned up the beach house, and made plans to leave early the next morning. The entire week had been perfect. No problems. No issues. Just long nights, loud parties, and days spent by the ocean. That night, we decided to go out one last time. A big party was happening at a beachside club about 15 minutes from our house. Everyone we had met during the week was going to be there. It felt like the perfect way to end the trip. The club was packed when we arrived. Music was blasting, lights flashing, people everywhere. It was loud, chaotic, exactly what you'd expect from spring break. We spent hours there, drinking, dancing, losing track of time. Around 2:30 a.m., we decided to leave. Most people were staying longer, but we were exhausted and had to wake up early. We said our goodbyes, walked out into the cooler night air, and headed toward the parking lot. That's when I noticed someone watching us, a man standing near the edge of the lot. He wasn't part of the crowd. He wasn't talking to anyone, just standing there, looking directly at us. His face was hard to see under the dim lights, but something about him felt off. Too still, too focused. I assumed he was just another guy waiting for a ride, so I ignored it. We got into the car and started driving back to the beach house. The roads were mostly empty. Streetlights passed overhead in long stretches of darkness. No one said much. We were all tired. But after a few minutes, one of my friends spoke up. "Is that car following us?" I looked in the rearview mirror. Headlights. A single car behind us. At first, it didn't seem strange. But then I noticed something. Every turn we made, the car followed. Left, right, straight. It stayed the same distance behind us. Not getting closer, not falling back, just there. We all started paying attention now. The atmosphere in the car shifted. The music was turned down. The road felt quieter, longer. We took a different route, just to test it. The car followed. My chest tightened. We didn't say it out loud, but we all knew it wasn't a coincidence. We were being followed. The rest of the drive felt endless. No other cars, no pedestrians, just us and the headlights behind us. Finally, we reached the beach house. I pulled into the driveway quickly. The car behind us slowed down, then stopped at the end of the street. Its headlights remained on, pointed directly at us. No one got out, no movement, just sitting there, watching. We rushed inside the house and locked the door. Every lock, every window. We turned off the lights and peeked through the curtains. The car was still there, engine running, lights on, not moving. Minutes passed, then slowly. The headlights turned off. The street went completely dark. The car was still there, but now we couldn't see inside it. Couldn't see anything. After a few seconds, the engine started again, and the car drove away. We all let out a breath, tried to calm down, told ourselves it was nothing, just someone heading the same direction. But none of us really believed that. We stayed awake for a while after that, sitting in the living room, talking quietly, trying to shake the feeling. Eventually, exhaustion took over. One by one, everyone went to sleep. I was the last one awake, sitting on the couch, staring at the front door, making sure it was locked. I must have dozed off, because the next thing I remember, I woke up suddenly. The house was completely silent, no ocean sound, no wind, nothing. I checked my phone, 3:17 a.m. That's when I heard it, a soft knock at the door. I froze. 3 slow knocks, not loud, but clear, deliberate. My heart started pounding. I didn't move. The knock came again. Same pattern. Slow, calm, like whoever was outside wasn't in a hurry. I stood up slowly and walked toward the door. Each step felt heavy, unnatural. I stopped a few feet away and listened. Silence. Then a voice from the other side, soft, almost friendly.
Hello?
"Hey, it's me." I didn't recognize it. I didn't respond. The voice came again, slightly louder this time. "Open the door." I felt a cold wave run through my body. Something about the tone felt wrong. Too calm. Too controlled. Like it wasn't asking. It was expecting. I stepped closer to the door, looked through the peephole. There was someone standing there, but I couldn't see their face. It was completely dark, like the light outside wasn't reaching them. Just a shape, standing still. I stepped back immediately. The voice changed. Lower now. More serious. I know you're awake. I didn't respond. My breathing became shallow. The silence stretched for a few seconds. Then suddenly, the doorknob moved, slowly, turning. I felt my chest tighten, but the door didn't open. It was locked. The handle stopped moving. Then the voice whispered right against the door. So you locked it. A pause. Then, you should have done that earlier. Whisper! I backed away completely. My entire body felt frozen. Then I heard something else. From behind me, inside the house. Footsteps. Upstairs. Slow. Heavy. Moving across the floor. I turned slowly toward the staircase. The sound continued. One step at a time. Like someone was walking around upstairs. My heart dropped. The front door was still locked. The person outside hadn't come in. So who was upstairs? The voice outside spoke again, calm, satisfied. We're already inside. Everything went silent. No footsteps. No voice. Nothing. We left before sunrise. Didn't say a word. Didn't look back. And as we drove away, I checked the rear-view mirror one last time. There was someone standing in the upstairs window of the house, watching us leave, perfectly still. And even from that distance, I could tell they were smiling.
If you made it this far, thank you for spending your night with us. If these stories gave you chills, there are plenty more waiting. Don't forget to subscribe to Night Fear Stories so that you are able to enjoy upcoming content on the channel. Good night and sleep well if you can.